your host, Cain Stevens. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cain Stevens Super Show. I'm your host with the most, once again, Cain Stevens, and we have, you guessed it, another super guest on our hands. And I think that this might even be you wait and see, this might turn out to be a legendary guest, which is, if you play Fortnite like I do, there's like the different tiers of guests, I guess, instead of guns. And I think that this person's going to be on the legendary level. So I've been doing some podcasting with her. We've been practicing podcasting, and pretty soon we'll be releasing podcasts. But with all that being said, let's bring on DJ BJ, Big Red, Brooke Johnson, everybody. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
I've been wanting to get you on the show for quite a while anyway. We've been talking back and forth. Maybe I'll even dupe you into being a regular on the show. That would be awesome.
Hey, absolutely. I'd do it. I love your podcast.
So, what have you been up to, Brooke? I know that you work at Kelly's Pub. For those of you Lincolnites out here, I know we live by the beach, and we have the waves crashing around us, and it's just like a tropical paradise. But sometimes you got to go inside to the bars and different things. So, how's Kelly's Pub treating you these days?
It is awesome. I love Kelly's Pub. I worked there for almost 8 years. I used to bartend all over the place, and different bars, different restaurants. And I'd have to say this is my by far favorite place I've ever worked. I mean, besides the other stuff I've done as well, but the owner is phenomenal. All of my coworkers are amazing. We're all like best friends. And I love my regulars. They're a hoot. And I work during the day, so I have a lot of regulars that come in, and they're very we watch Let's Make a Deal every day, maybe some Jeopardy.
Do you have any shout outs to any of them? I hope you get some of them listening to this particular episode. You have a shout out to, you don't want to alienate the ones that aren't your favorites, but do you have any ones you want to shout out?
Well, I want to shout out to Walker because he is faithful. He is there every day to be there if I need a keg maybe changed and I'm busy, he'll do it. I have to shout out to him. I got a lot of regulars. I don't want to miss anybody. I'm just going to shout out to Walker, though, because he is, I mean, if he's not there, we got to do a wellness check, I think.
Does Walker tip well, though? That's what the listeners really want to know.
Absolutely. He tips well, and he's also not like, you don't have to babysit him, or I babysit people, but we always joke about bartenders, oh, it's snack time. Oh, no more beer king, go pee.
I believe it or not, I kind of grew up in the bar life. Like my parents were notorious bar people, but they also worked at the bar. My sister was a bartender. My parents were bartenders back when the Overland Station was going on. So I spent almost my entire childhood in and out of the bar, watching people act a fool. It was good or bad, but it was good for me as a musician because then as I got older, I understood the bar crowd, so I knew how to read the room because I was those people. I am them,
Right. See, and I was completely opposite. I was a little sheltered growing up, so I think maybe that's why I like going there. I don't know, but my parents. Well, there's a funny story about my son. There was I don't know, it was probably 8 or 9 years ago. There was that tornado south of Lincoln, and it was coming towards Watering Hole. So I was managing that place at the time, and I was like, oh my God, my son is home alone. He was like 10 and, just chilling, playing video games, and I about 2 blocks away. So I said, I got to go get him. So I run and go get him, come back. He goes, Mom, why are we here? And I go, well, there's a tornado coming. And he goes, I don't want to die in a bar. And I said, you are the only person on this earth that would say that. So yeah,
he got it right. You never want to die in a bar, right? I mean,
yeah. I said, I go, buddy, there's food, TVs. Like, his TV's not working.
Yeah. I had some of my fondest memories at the bar. I can remember being, that was back when they smoked, so it was like a cancer tree. I can't believe I don't have lung cancer right now because of it, but I can remember like my parents just like, oh, here's $40, go play pinball, go play pool, go get a frozen pizza and some chips. It was like, to me it was the greatest. And then their friends would like shower me with, all sorts of, Shirley Temples and Roy Rogers and all that. So those are like great times, honestly.
Absolutely. We have a couple of our regulars will bring in their kids every once in a while, and same thing. Shirley Temples. Here's some uh oh, what kind of snacks do you want? Here's some Mountain Dew because you're gonna go home with dad later. Just
You guys do
yeah.
the frozen pizzas there? Do you
Oh
guys?
yeah, Tombstone, they're the best. We have like the best oven ever. I mean, I had to take a 2-week class to know how to make this.
There's nothing better than sitting in a bar and eating like a perfectly toast like Totino's pizza or Tombstone or
Mhm.
something. Like there's nothing better than that.
Until you wake up the next day because you drank a little too much and you burnt the roof of your mouth because it was so good.
And you have diarrhea from the cheese. You're right.
Yes, you have the cheese and the shots you're taking. Oh yeah, it's but the tombstones are the best though. We even have a sign out front. I think that's why a lot of people come in. I mean, I'm just saying.
Exactly. Well, you're far more than just a bartender, Brooke. I know that we're gonna dive into the hard hitting stuff with you. I'm gonna ask you some questions here, and we're really gonna get to know you on this show. First off, I know that you were on the radio before, which is when I started contacting you, I was excited because I was like, man, I would really love to have a female like co-host on who has radio experience. And you were on, if I remember right, you were on with Matt McKay, correct?
I was, yeah. He's a very, very good friend of mine. Um, and he's asked me to come on, every once in a while to just kind of just try it out. And then I started doing it more often. And the one of my friends was in a band, so we would always go on Fridays before a show, and we got to play. They got to play on the radio, and so then he just kind of eventually got me to be able to be on the radio a little more, and I got to experience really cool stuff. And to be live and to watch Matt work is like watching Monet, like it's just a art form that he does. He was meant to do this. And I mean, there's no words to describe how cool this man is. And some of the things that he let me do and just experience, it was really, I loved it. I loved it. And I talked to him last night for a little bit and I said, I'm really appreciate everything you've done. And I said, do you remember how many times did you have to press that button? Because I was gonna cuss and you could see it. And he goes, I don't ever remember pressing that button. And I said, oh, buddy. He did a couple times.
He
And
did
he
it so
goes,
many
no,
times that he doesn't remember. Like
he
his mind
doesn't
shut it
remember.
off.
And he kind of laughed, and I was like, "Yeah, you had your finger on it. I think 90% of the time." But yeah, there it was a really cool experience. Though it was, it's different, a little different than podcasting. I mean, especially if you're recording, or so you do have to be careful what you say, and it is a family show. But I went on there about once a week for quite some time, but. Yeah, it was got to meet a lot of cool people. He had a lot of neat guests, and that was one of my favorite things. And John Chapo, he's was the guy that runs the zoo. He'd come in every once in a while with an animal, and I remember he brought in cockroaches, and I had to leave and excuse myself because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, and that was the only thing that I had. It was pretty cool though, all the people that were there, and to meet like the whole group of people in the radio, even the news, people that were there. And but I loved that experience. And when you guys asked me to go on this podcast and start doing this, I was so tickled pink. I was literally like manifesting wanting to get back on the radio or doing something similar to it. And so I really appreciate that.
Well, I can't think of a better person to have on. And now that I've gotten to know you better, like I'd seen you at the bar, obviously I used to be a karaoke host and stuff, but I didn't know, like I probably like I said, your sister probably served me more drinks than you did there. But I know that I've talked to you, but I'll bet I didn't like, so it's really nice to get to know you. But for the listeners out there who aren't from the Lincoln area and aren't living in paradise right now, like we are, shame on you. Um, you this was a pop station, correct? This was a morning show as well, which I'm envious of. So it was on KFRX, correct?
Yeah, it was KFRX. It was Matt McKay in the mornings. Yep. And then we also Lindsay did a 90s at noon, and
Yeah.
that affiliated with my friend that had the band. So they kind of sponsored that band at 90s at night. So yeah, kind of all affiliated and yeah, correlated together.
I'm jealous because like growing up, I was so obsessed with talk radio, like let's say Opie and Anthony and Howard Stern and all of these, and this is what I wanted to do. Like, I mean, when I got a football scholarship to a Lutheran college, like the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to get into broadcasting and radio. I always had friends who told me like, man, you'd be perfect for radio. You say the most random, ridiculous stuff and all this, and I never really put stock into it, but I wanted to be that. So I'm like envious that you. I mean, you did it. You were on the morning show and it was a big show too. Let's not be modest here. Like Matt McKay's show was huge in this town.
Yeah, it was I mean, it was the best experience to go through with him, especially because he was such a great teacher. I mean, you learn how to like, you know, do things that you didn't realize you could do. I mean, he put me in situations where he's like, okay, you got 30 seconds and you have to come with five, questions, and this caller's going to call in and they have to do this and that. And and I mean, you had to really go and really do things. And he was just phenomenal at that. And it was so cool to watch him and to learn from him. And I think he does have another podcast that he's doing with a friend of his. And it's really, he's meant to do that. And I do remember, a lot of my kids as friends are like, yeah, was that you on the radio? And I was like, yeah. They're like, yeah, we could tell by your laugh. And sometimes I would have to pretend I was somebody else or whatever, as a little joke or whatever. And if I'd laughed, people knew. And Matt's like, hey, you just gave it away.
I hope
Sorry.
to talk him into being on the show one of these times so I can just probably just praise him the whole time and tell him how great he was.
And he wants to be on the show and he would love to. And let me tell you, he will do the same for you. He is a very kind person and he will probably he'll take that energy right back to you. He's a good man.
That's awesome. Um, I one thing that we were talking about outside of the show was you mentioned that you learned how to do like Reiki work and all of that
Yeah.
type of stuff. And I have absolutely no idea what that means. Like I've had tarot readers, I've had so many mediums, I can't even count at this point. I've had guys with I talk to some of the people that are doing things, like things that you would not consider normal. But tell me what Reiki is and tell me how you got into it.
Well, I went to school, a massage therapy school in Omaha. I think I was graduated about 2003. So I've been doing it for a while. And there's a lot of modalities that you can do. So I started getting into Reiki, which it's an energy work. And so like to explain it as like a mental massage, although it is a physical and mental healing art. Um, it basically what it is you use your energy. Well, you use the universe's energy, and you're kind of a vessel for that energy. And you have different um, chakras, so that they're energy places in your body, and you have seven main ones. And it starts from the top of the head all the way down to the bottom of your body. And there's different meanings behind all of them. So you'll have your first chakra, your root chakra. So that's a lot of like your grounding, but you can also go all the way back into like past lives if you believe in that. You can go into um, subconscious things that maybe you have blocked, but you go all the way through these chakras. So you have 1 through 7. So like your root, your bottom chakra is more for even like your physical being too as well. Um, and and it's for like family and your grounding. And then you have your second chakra, which is kind of by like your belly button, sort of. So you go there, and it's more for I mean, there's so many things that you could, there's sciatica, your um, mental things are like guilt or money or, so that's so you have that chakra. And then you go up to the navel or a little above the navel. That's your third chakra. That's your confidence, your self-esteem. And that has stuff more towards like your liver, your gastric um, system, your stomach. So, and then you have your heart, your fourth chakra. So of course you think of love or if you're in balance, maybe there's some anger. You also with heart disorders, asthma, things that's where that correlates. And then you have your fifth chakra is your throat and your larynx. And so you think about your speaking. So sometimes maybe you talk too much and you don't know how to refrain from that, or maybe you don't talk enough, or maybe it's your communication with people. It's also with your throat, mouth, things like that. And then your sixth chakra. So you have which is basically your eye, by your eyes. And you're going to have, that's going to be a little bit more spiritual, I guess. So you have like your third eye. If a lot of people don't know, that's kind of a in between um, your spiritual thoughts and yourself and to connect that. But your crown is like like that's where you get enlightenment. And so that's right above your head. And that is the one, if as long as everything is aligned, and that's what Reiki is we align these chakras. So all of your physical, your mental, spiritual, everything is aligned. And you use a universal energy for that. And there is a lot of different ways that you can give this energy out. You don't have to be with that person. You can do distant healing. And a friend of mine, he has had terminal cancer and he was in a lot of pain. And so his mother called me and asked if I would do a treatment, a distant treatment. He was in Colorado. And I said, absolutely. And he goes, but don't tell me when you do it. Just, give it to him. And I when I did it, she calls me about 20 minutes later and she's like, "Did you just give him a treatment?" And I said, "I did." He goes, "He's fine. He felt like he feels good. Like he even fell asleep and he feels good." And she's crying, and I truly believe that it's kind of like when you think of somebody and then they call you. It's like that energy that you have between two people. And but Reiki is a very good healing. It can get emotional. I've had people cry. I've had people laugh. You're getting a lot out of someone that may not know that they need certain healing. So if your chakras are in balance, or they're out of balance, or they're stagnant, that's what you do is you open them up because your throat chakra could be closed. But your everything else is open. But in order for, it's like when you go to the chiropractor and you get your spine aligned. It's the same thing with your chakras and your energy, focusing on your energy and how to heal those and how to get them balanced. And once you have all of them balanced, and you have to do this on a regular basis, and you can give yourself Reiki treatments. And I have taught people how to do that. It's kind of like when you go to physical therapy and they teach you how to do certain things. It's the same thing. And I mean, it could go on forever though about the origin of it. I mean, it's been around for thousands of years. And it's a treatment as well that it's not based on getting paid, kind of like massage therapy or when you do things like that, this is always was based on if you can't afford it or you can't, you should give it anyway because it is based on love, healing. Everyone should have that. And it's probably I mean, I'm in love with it because I've witnessed people actually getting so much out of it. And it's very simple, but it's very complex at the same time. Yeah.
Well, and that's a very good description of what it is. I mean, you've laid it out for us. I think that the dumb person like me, I when I hear that stuff, my mind is reeling just because I heard so many things. I start imagining like you going to like Hogwarts or something, and Voldemort in the dark arts room is teaching you all sorts of crazy stuff.
I do have my pendulum right here. Okay. This is
but I know that this stuff is legit. Like I mean, like I've talked to so many people now. There is something to this, and I know that I always like to address the skeptic out there. If you're listening and you're the skeptic and you're going, "Oh, this is a bunch of horse hockey. This is a bunch of hooey," I would invite you to try it, unless you're afraid. You know, I know some people act that way because they're afraid of all this stuff. They think that you're, especially like you as a female, Brooke. What I've noticed is like when females do things, anything, there's those people out there, the pilgrims come out of the woodwork and they think you're a witch, right? Like have
Oh
people
yeah.
accused you of that? Like when you talk about this stuff, like maybe that you're a witch. And I don't know, are you a witch?
Well, I do believe in a lot of the ways that the witches do practice because I do have a family member that is, and you think that of evil, that's what you think of, and it's not at all. It is it's more about earth and more about being present. And I don't sit here with my cauldron and and I'm gonna get you and have little like rats and put, mice and spiders and something and make my kids eat it, whatever, and be like, you're gonna be good now, you know. But I mean, it's more about being kind and earth. It's an earth thing. You have all of your like this. Like I have all my herbs and little oils, but those are healing things to have, like lavender calms you down, peppermint helps your digestive system. I mean, it could go on and on, but to be a witch, it's kind of I when people say like, sure am, better watch out. No, I'm just kidding. Better be nice to me.
Jury's still out on if you're a witch, Brooke. You know,
Yeah, we don't. I mean, I can't tell. I don't know. Am I a Glinda or am I a Wicked? I don't know. No, I was kidding.
I don't think there's anything wrong. I mean, like honestly, and I came to religion later in life. You know what I mean? And it's okay. Like I'm okay. I'm not the type that presses it on people. I have my beliefs, but I believe that the worlds exist together. Okay. I don't see anything wrong with people appreciating the earth and loving the earth and everything that it has to offer. I actually welcome that and love that because I think that so many people, I mean, they pollute the earth, they do all these things, they just don't seem to care about nature and everything. But I look at it differently. I can sit outside and I can watch the leaves shimmy and shake and I just sit there in the splendor and the beauty of earth, right? That doesn't make me a wizard or anything, but I just look at it differently. Like I'm gonna tell you, something happened to me yesterday and I'm still sitting in shock about it, and I'll bring it up to you. So we had a horrible accident here in Lincoln on 56 and Cooper, okay? And I live in the area of that. I actually live very close to the point where this person who got ejected from the vehicle basically landed like just diagonal of my driveway.
Oh,
And I was outside and I was I had my earbuds in, so this is a great advertisement for JBL earbuds because I didn't hear the crash and everything, but I saw like the aftermath of the person laying there and everybody. And so there was a lady and she came running at me asking for masks, and I just happened to have masks. So I took them over there so someone could do CPR. And I looked down, and that's when I realized, like, oh my God, this is something horrible has happened. Like, this person there's blood everywhere. It was awful,
oh.
right? And so I'm like, to be honest with you, the reason I'm talking about it is I can't get it out of my head. Like I'm like traumatized by it, and I'm not being dramatic. I'm like just witnessing that right in front of your house. Like I couldn't even put together what was happening, and then watching them try to revive the guy, and then finding out that he died. Like after they left, like it was not a shock to me. He died. I mean, according to witnesses, this guy was thrown from the vehicle, and his body went over the corner of like this house, and they flew. And I just feel like a horrible sadness for this person. I mean, I can tell just by talking to you that you feel sadness for this person too. But it's just kind of like I don't wish that on anybody to witness. I've seen a dead body before, like after an accident, like somebody kind of like slumped down in a vehicle, and I feel for them. But to see it this close to my house and watch them like wash the blood away and everything, like the scene didn't happen, was like
That's
I can't get over it.
I know exactly what you feel like. It's like if you're a doctor or a nurse and you're used to it. I'm not used to it, but you've seen it a lot. Excuse me. Um, it's not that you become immune to it, but you kind of know how to deal with it. But when you're first time you see something like that, especially that traumatic, of course you are going to have trauma. Like and those are the, like what Reiki would do is to help you with those feelings and to help you with, you know, balancing those things out. And that's a natural thing. If you didn't feel like that, I would be like, oh, serial killer, you know, but
Like, there
it's
were
true.
people. This is the thing, Brooke. There were people that made me so mad. People, ghouls. I'm talking people that showed up with cameras,
Oh,
videoing the guy getting CPR, the blood
oh,
everywhere, and they weren't with the news because you could tell the news people pulled up everywhere. You could tell those people they're dressed nice. I'm talking people who walked out of their house and showed up with the phone camera. I
you know,
hate.
how do you feel about, I get pissed when people do that. Like, or when someone goes up to a homeless person, they're videotaping, like, look what I did. I gave him money, or like or someone's hurt, or someone's doing something mean to someone else and people are videotaping. I don't know how that drives me nuts. I hate it when people do that. It's so invasive. It's so disrespectful. And I get like having a camera if you need it for evidence for something. I mean, I understand that. I was, my past with I mean, it would have been nice to have some of that, for uh just documentation, but when people are doing that, when like you said, you see this man sitting there and he's deceased and there's people with camera. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't either. It was like somebody from Faces of Death. You remember those videos? Like back in, did you ever watch those?
I think I know what you're talking about. Where they,
Back
yeah.
in the VHS days, right? Like we would go to like different places, different video stores that sometimes have them. We would either rent them or we'd buy them. And I always felt gross. Like I'd go to rotten.com and so it was just like a morbid curiosity as a kid
Right.
to see that, but to see it in person, like, and the only reason I bring it up is we're talking about like the earth and appreciating when you see something like that, you just instantly like if you're not a human being, you tear you don't tear up,
Right.
but I was sitting there crying in my garage watching it and like which my mouth was like wide open and
Hmm.
it was just like I started to once again every day you got to think about this stuff and you have to appreciate life, right? And that's what
Hmm.
it did for me, and I think that's what probably Reiki and this type of stuff does for you is it makes you obviously you're probably empathic as well, right? So you
Hmm.
feel you feed off the energy and I do too. I almost felt like I could feel the feeling of everybody around and maybe someone would say I'm crazy, like you're just kind of like sad because you feel, but man, the scene was horrific. I mean, I'm talking people running around screaming. Uh, I mean, like it was like out of a movie. Them making it a crime scene with caution tape, and
Hmm.
like the guy's shoes laying there. I mean, I was just like, I cannot kick this thing, man. I really can't.
And this is what I tell this to my children. I tell it to my friends. When something like that happens, it happened there for a reason for you in a sense as well. Not because it happened for, something bad, but you happened to be there. And I always believe that the universe puts us in certain situations or places for a reason. And we go through things for a reason, even if it's an illness or if it's a bad relationship. It's to make us learn and be stronger. And what you're feeling is, excuse me, is so natural, but yet it's teaching you something. It's teaching you, maybe you need it. Maybe the universe said you need to really think about life right now. And maybe there's something that you've been wanting to do for a long time. And because the more I get to know you, I'm just in awe of everything that you've done, everything you do. And maybe now it's something even small, or there's maybe something that you needed to see, hear, or feel, and to be able to figure that out. And, like with Reiki, again, that helps to balance all those out. And right now, I feel like it would be you're a little imbalanced because of this. And I mean, that's natural, and to have I could, I could give you a distance healing treatment when we're all finished here. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to lay down or you don't have to. focus on anything, but I can do that for you and help you, at least guide you with those feelings, because it is hard when you have to go through that. Any, and I could just see you sitting there, thinking of their family and thinking of, what in the heck is going on. I mean, that's traumatic. That is a traumatic thing to witness. I'm
It
sorry you had to,
It
yeah.
really is. I would appreciate that. If you can help me with this sort of thing, I would definitely welcome it and accept it. I very much appreciate, becoming friends with you and everything, and our friendship continues to grow through all this. And, I think so. We get on another note. I think that we should probably maybe pause for sponsorship here. That not that this is probably a horrible segue into it. These sponsors are great, but what we're talking about, it's serious stuff. This is what I love about podcasting. So we're gonna get less serious. We're gonna get a little more weird with each other when we come back after the Elegant Sasquatch.
Hey there, grooming gurus. We've got something wild for you today.
That's right, folks. Get ready to tame the untamed with products that redefine the beard game. Introducing the Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company.
Elegant Sasquatch, that sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it?
Well, grooming should be an adventure, my friend, and with these products, you'll embark on a journey to the grooming wilderness.
So, what makes the Elegant Sasquatch so unique?
It's all about taking your beard from beastly to beautifully wild. Picture this, you wake up and your beard looks like it just got back from a spa day. That's the magic of their high-end beard balms.
Spa day for the beard? Sign me up. And let's not forget their beard butters and oils. It's like giving your beard a tropical vacation. I'm talking about a beach party for your facial hair.
A beach party for the beard. This company's got the best marketing ever.
Oh, but we're not done yet, folks. The Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company also has beard washes that make shower time a majestic experience.
Showering with Sasquatch, that sounds like a reality show.
It does, but seriously, listeners, if you want to sophisticate your outer beast, head over to elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com and use the code SUPERSHOW at checkout for an exclusive discount of 20% off.
You can also find them on Facebook and Instagram. Check them out, like them, and while you're at it, tell them the Super Show sent you.
All right, we're back from our sponsors. I want to mention them very quickly. I want to start doing some extra commercials. Maybe I'll get Brooke in on some of these commercials. I need like a female voice instead
I
of.
would love to.
Yeah, please do that.
I would love to. I did it on the radio. I forgot about that part. Yeah, I got to do a couple commercials, except for when Matt, I'd have to really enunciate. And I looked like an idiot when I was talking.
I'm like embarrassed because like on the Elegant Sasquatch, I have to say beard a lot because it's a beard balm. And I think it comes out like sometimes the plugins I use and cut it out. So it sounds like beer. So
Beer.
beer bombs. And I'm like, no, beard balms. So I have to learn to enunciate myself.
Beer bongs.
Beer bongs. Yeah, I've heard that too. So we're solving the world's problems on this particular episode, Brooke. And one problem that I want to solve today, I was literally right before you got on, I was looking into the perfect potato salad recipe. All right, this is something. Ooh, I don't know if you like potato salad, but me, if it wasn't like horrible for me, I would literally eat potato salad all day, every day. Do you have a specific recipe that you do?
Yes, I can't believe you brought this. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, it's the deviled egg potato salad. And I'm a little irritated because I can't find the original recipe that it was my, I think my grandma's, or was it my mom's? Anyway, older, it was a different recipe. And so I've been Googling it. I've been looking all over for it. I've been making tons of different kinds, and I still have not made that particular one and I'm going to find it. I am going to tear my house apart until I find this, but the deviled egg potato salad, I love it so much.
My problem is like I don't understand, and maybe you can solve this problem for me and the listeners out there. Is how do you get a good consistency? Like what are the best potatoes to use? Okay, and how do you get a good consistency on it so that they're just sticky enough but not watery?
We need my mother on here for that because she is the potato salad connoisseur. She always used the red ones, like the red, I don't know, the red potatoes.
Like little red
then
or whatever.
And she would peel them when it was still really hot. Remember, she burning her hands, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you got to do it when it's hot." I'm like, "You have burning your hands." Like, that's how you do it.
They're like mom calluses, like they have like, their hands, they just reach into the oven and like pull it like a 500-degree pan out.
Who needs warmers? Who needs these little mats? I don't.
That's what I've turned into, now that like the roles have reversed in my house and like I'm the mom. I call myself Wolf Mother around here, so it sounds cooler, but really it isn't, because I do all the cooking, cleaning, and all that stuff. And it's like I find myself doing the same thing. Like my kids will be like, "You can't touch that pan." I'm like, "Oh, it's fine." And it's
You're literally wiping up puke with your own hand, like no towel. It's like, it's fine, it's fine.
like barehanding the dog's crap, Oh, man.
I get it. And kudos to you. You're like, what was that movie? Was it Mr. Mom?
Yeah,
With
yeah, with Michael Keaton. That movie's legend. That's where I learned everything from, Like, I learned it all from Michael Keaton. I also am Batman at night. Like, that's what I don't tell people, but I'm gonna reveal it now to you guys. I've been fighting crime on the streets of Lincoln for years, and now I'm coming out and telling you guys I'm Batman.
believe it. I'm Vicky Vale. Oh.
Right on. And I wonder who would be the joke. Probably Randy Wilson. Randy Wilson would actually be the Joker. I think that Randy is definitely an evil villain of some sort.
Yeah, he is it's a good acting there, right? Yeah, that's the best villain is you don't know about him. That's the guys at the bar. Man, I could probably point out every superhero or villain of who I could think they are. Oh yeah, I have to do that sometime. They'd love it. It'd be story time.
Let's do the thing that I usually do, which is I like to ask about ghosts and goblins, cryptids, and aliens and all that good stuff. So, what say you about the ghost world? Do you believe in ghosts? And do you have any ghost stories, or have you lived in a haunting?
All of the above. I I, I get it. Okay, between ghosts and spirits, it's hard for me to differentiate that, because I think they're one and the same, but a lot of people will try to argue that. But have you ever had sleep paralysis?
I have. I actually suffer from sleep paralysis quite often, and it's absolutely terrifying.
It is terrifying. And I remember the first time that happened. I legit heard voices. I was awake. I mean, I felt like I was awake, it is, but I could see the room and I could hear people talking to me. And I mean, I just couldn't move. I couldn't yell, and I'm trying. And that was my first experience where I thought, okay, that I was just, hearing things, whatever. Then it happened again, and it was when I was pregnant. And one of my instructors, when I went to the healing arts school, I was telling her about it, and she said, a lot of times what she believes, and with our spiritual healing, witches or Reiki or whatever, but when you have sleep paralysis, it's your soul leaving your body, and when you dream, that's what you do. That's why when you dream about somebody, or when when you go through all these weird things, your soul is actually gone, and then it comes back. But what happens is you wake up before your soul is back, and so your body can't move, but you're awake. And so that is the most um uh the time where spirits, where ghosts, even demons, like anything that's out in the other spiritual world, can come into you, can see you, can feel you, can possess you. And so when I was pregnant, it happened to me often, and they said that is one of the most, like, the times where um it's the scariest, because you have a child and that's what they want, basically, is to possess, to get in there. If it is evil, it's not always evil, but it could be. And when she told me that, it didn't scare me even more at all. I was excited to hear that. Not at all, but it would happen all the time, and I would always hear the same voice. But then I started having, this is the weirdest thing. A dog would always sit beside me, and its face would be right next to me, and it'd be sniffing. And obviously, I didn't even have a dog at the time anyway. And it was almost protecting me, I think. And I've probably done this or I've gone through it a few times, and it is a scary thing, but I really do believe in spirits. Because the other thing I think of is like when you pass away, you all of a sudden, not like everybody doesn't just forget about you. Like you're always going to be there. There's a sense, there's an essence, it's even like if you think of quantum physics, if you think of all the, there's energy constantly. Well, just because you pass doesn't mean that your energy is all gone, otherwise we'd forget about it. And we're all connected somehow. And I do believe in ghosts. I believe in spirits. I believe, some people, like my friend that passed away, he, our, it's, my phone went off one time, and it was about a week after he had passed away, and my phone just was sitting there, and it started hitting the number 66666, and that doesn't mean like the evil stuff. He died in the sixth month, on the 6th. And so I knew that was him trying to get a hold of me, and I dreamt about him. And I think in our dreams, I don't know, what do you feel about like dreams? I feel like dreams, people come to us all the time. I used to dream about my grandma, my friends that were gone, even my friends that are still alive, and or family members. It's almost like I don't know. What do you think about dreams? I don't know. Like,
I'm fascinated by. I'm looking for someone who's like a dream expert to come on the show, because like when I was doing the Paranormal Super Show, I used to have this dream book that I got at a garage sale, and and I used to like randomly flip through it, and then I would do like explanations of dreams at the end of the show, and they were always kind of like, if you see a hat, you
Mhm.
want to make potato salad or something.
Your teeth fall out, you like giraffes,
It was so crazy, like Freud wrote it or something. But I'm fascinated because like I have super vivid dreams. I have night terrors too, where I scream out loud. I see the most horrible stuff, and I know that I'm a pretty creative person, and I know that my mind is like a spinning wheel. So I probably need that to like just kind of process the day, kind of like a dog. When you see him sleeping and you see him like kicking and whimpering. That's me as an adult form, right? But,
Do you sleepwalk? Do you,
oh,
uh,
but
do you
my son does, and oh crap, he'll probably kill me for this. So my son has horrible sleepwalking, but I witnessed two of the most terrifying things in my life, and I'm gonna tell you about them right now. And they were because of my son. No, three things. One, I heard pounding around in his room one night. I walk in there, and he's nowhere to be found, and I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? I look and I open the door a little bit more. He's behind the door. His eyes are open, and he has the most sinister look on his face. And this is what I do every time. I go, get in bed, like knock it off because I'm scared. And then the second time, I sleep on the couch a lot, and because I snore, so I want to give my wife a good night's sleep. And so, anyways, so I'm sleeping, and I hear a pounding around going on once again. And I'm like, oh crap, here we go again. I look in the hall, and my son is standing there in the middle of the hall. Mouth is wide open like an alien movie, and he lets out this Jurassic Park shriek.
Oh,
And I wanted to grab the Catholic battle cross that I have, and I wanted to throw it at him, but instead I just go back to bed. What are you doing? I peed my pants on that one. I almost
you just gave me chills. Just
dude.
picture.
I wish, like, if you've watched like what is it, like the Fourth Kind or whatever.
Yeah.
It was literally that scene. Like, I swear to God, I thought he was possessed. And then the last one,
See,
not too
oh.
long ago, I heard something in the basement, and I kind of roll over and I'm looking around, and I look, nobody's there, and I start to get up and I peep over, and my son is crawling up the stairs on all fours. And I was like, okay, be gone, Satan, not today.
It's like the Grudge or what's the one where they're the crawling on the. Oh.
That's the scariest.
What if he would have been on the ceiling?
If he would have been on the ceiling, I absolutely would have lit the house on fire and hope for the best. Like, sorry, everybody, I'm gone.
That has to be terrifying. Oh my God. I did that to my
Stuff of my
mom.
nightmares. Like my son is he's
Oh,
literally haunting me alive, and I have no idea why.
dude, I wish he would just do it randomly, like on purpose, just to scare the
Poor
crap out of
guy.
me.
And then I ask him the next day, and he has no recollection of it. He thinks I'm nuts. So now I like stack things like in front. We have like a baby gate for our dogs. I like close the gate every night and I stack things there so that's harder for him to do all this devilish stuff in the middle of the night.
And you're holding a cross. It's some holy water.
Yeah. Man, it's wild. But talking about dreams, I had a guy. I was at the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, which is very haunted, and we did the ghost tour. And I don't know why something struck me, and I wanted to tell this guy about these dreams, this paralysis I've been having. So I have this specific one where I'm completely frozen. I can see my body is out of my body, and I'm floating in like a pyramid. And there's like I can see hieroglyphs and all this stuff, and it's so strange because there's like a dark shadow that's like floating with me, and it's terrified me to this day. So I unleashed this onto this guy, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I know what it is." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, you were abducted by aliens," and I was like, "So that
I
was."
mean, I don't know. I mean, I kind of believe it.
I mean, maybe I was right. Like maybe they were gonna harvest my organs and do all the crazy stuff that they do. But I don't. I have no idea. But I started like praying in my dream, and this was when I wasn't religious, and it like went away, like poof. Immediately after that, it was like gone. So
That's I would have been freaking out. I know I believe in the alien thing, maybe, or the spirits,
I don't
any
think
of
I
that.
was possessed. And when I tell people this, people are like, "Yeah, you were possessed." I'm like, "No, I don't think I was possessed. I just feel
Well,
like something crazy's happening."
yeah, or you could have been going to the different dimension of between, well, I don't want to say heavens, but the heavens or the spirit, or different a different realm, and I believe in that. I really think. I mean, we have to be so um into ourselves if we think we are the only people here or the only beings or the only. I mean, and I mean, think about like how smart, like they probably did take you and
Aren't those people annoying? Like the people who are so close-minded, they just
oh
think
yeah.
like I see them on the comment threads, and I always type out like something just horrific to say back, like "Oh, you real piece of work," and all that. But then I just like delete it right away because you're not gonna reach them. But I'm just like, how can you be so stupid?
Close-minded and
Oh,
yes, yes. And this is like I say this to my kids too. You're never going to change a person's mind so hard-headed and stuck on something by being preachy and mean, but by just being kind and loving and open and giving them your point of view. A lot of times people will listen more and be a little more open-minded, even if it takes years for that. Because we got some people in my family, I'm not naming anybody, but we're picking at them just to get them open-minded a little more. But for the most part, I just I mean, you got the people taking videos of accidents. You got people that are closed-minded about and my thing is I'm like, tell me about it. I want to hear more about it. I want to know what your ideas are. I want to and just be and as long as you're not hurting anyone, go for it.
right.
You know, all of it. Aliens, ghosts, all of it. Do it all.
That's why.
God, all of it.
That's why I provide an open forum on this show. That's why I changed the format to talk to everybody because I feel like it's more interest, just like talking to you today. I think that you can learn something from every single thing. Today we learned about potato salad. We learned about Reiki. We learned about ghouls who take, photos, and videos during horrible accidents. We talked about. I mean, like this is the human experience, isn't it? Like how fortunate are we that we have the forum and the opportunity to do this? So,
And
uh,
you teach so many people how to be open. And I am so grateful to know you. You are probably one of my favorite people on this planet. You are so kind. Your words mean so much to me. You are very talented, and I appreciate you. And I mean, you're gonna probably have your own night show sometime, like on TV. Like it's gonna be the Cain Stevens Night Show.
Are you hearing this, everybody? Like, let's just take it all in for a second and revel in the nice things that Brooke has to say to me. You know, it really does mean a lot to me, Brooke. I'm actually extremely uncomfortable when people say anything nice about me, so I really do appreciate it. You know, I don't go in a corner and hug myself afterwards and just, oh, I'm just so great. But
High five. Yeah.
and I'm enjoying podcasting with you, and I hope to have you on the show. We're kind of running out of time, unfortunately, on this. I wish we could talk, but I think we're going to have many parts to this. So this is just the beginning of Brooke on the Cain Stevens Super Show. I also want you guys to know that we are launching a music podcast called Scratch the Vinyl here very soon. If we ever get out of the like the almost the pilot stage of this and I get off my butt and I finish editing some of the so if you love music as much as we do, we're also with Randy Wilson, who's been on the show, Mr. Chill, shout out to him. We're talking about the music experience of music and what it does for you, and we're just diving into it. We're talking to musicians, we're talking to all sorts of, really anybody. If you want to be on that show, contact us. Contact me. You can contact me at cainstevenspodcast@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us at scratchthevinylpodcast@gmail.com. And just, if you want to be on the show and talk about music, come talk to us, right? So thank you so much for being on the show, Brooke. Is there anything you want to promote right now? Like, do you have a business venture, anything at all you want to promote? Here's your forum to do so.
Well, thank you. No, you nailed it with our podcast that we're taking out. We're doing all that, and come to Kelly's Pub and come see me. Maybe I'll buy you a drink if you're of age, and you can bring your kids too. We'll give them a Shirley Temple, but not past 9.
I'm probably an idiot. I probably didn't mention the name of the podcast, or it's Scratch the Vinyl. It's coming out very soon, and it's we've already done quite a few episodes. We're just kind of figuring out which one. So just look out for that, everybody, and listen to that podcast, listen to this podcast, and really listen to all podcasts, because podcasts are so great because you get to learn what human beings are really like. So, Brooke, thank you so much for being on the show. I know you have to go.
You. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I had so much fun. I feel like I could just talk for hours with you.
No, we're going to do this again. I'll probably just schedule you nonstop. And also, I have some stuff where, some question and answer stuff that I would love to have you on for, so that we could just kind of, shoot some clips and stuff. So we'll talk about that later, and we'll see you on the other side, Brooke.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.